Tommy Best, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And man, you thought it's been hot outside, but this conversation is going to be getting hella hot here, talking with Kyle Colson of Hella Hot Sauce. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Enjoying life and enjoying the beautiful weather we have.
I know, man. I was noticing the trees and outdoors behind you, man. It looks like a good place to go decompress after to get away from all the stuff of the world, I guess.
Yeah, it is definitely nice to come home, and that's for sure.
Nice. Well, yeah, so like we were saying, man, our a mutual friend of ours kind of got us connected, and I wanted to hear a little bit of the hot sauce journey story. But usually when I have people on for the first time, I want to get a quick, like, kind of like a background. Do you remember when you were a kid, before hot sauce came in the picture, what you originally wanted to be when you grew up?
I was into golf and all that stuff, so wanted to do things in more of the golfing world, and then I ended up going into becoming an environmental scientist with turfgrass management background. And then now I'm a groundskeeper by day and hot sauce slinger by night.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. So you're always kind of working in nature, huh?
Yeah, always have been, yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. And then, like you said, so you grew up. Let's talk kind of a little bit about the journey. What came first, the groundskeeper or the hot love of hot sauce?
I've been landscaping, groundskeeping pretty much my whole career. On top of other weird like side jobs in college and stuff like that. And then my wife and I have been married 14 years and going on 15, and kind of had this love affair for spicy stuff when we started to date, and then we would collect different sauces from other restaurants or other travels, and at a point we had like a whole like side door, where you'd have like ketchup and your beer and all that. It was just all hot sauce. And then we were like, well, I think we should start making something and just see what would happen. So then my folks got me some weird little like kit to make hot sauce, and the thing sat around for a long time. And one of the days I just got bored one day and was like, oh, let's try it out. And that was the first adventure. And then before the wife and I, but then with her and I went full-fledged into it, started writing recipes, and then we had about 18 to 20 recipes, and little bits of that recipe available for people to try. And we do
hey, Kyle. Hey, real quick, because it's like you're kind of like, it's kind of like max headroom a little bit. Is there a way you get closer to your Wi-Fi?
I can. Pausing it?
Yeah, it keeps like freezing up and stuff.
Getting back into the love affair we had for spicy. We really started just to collect sauces, and then it got into this thing to where we started to make them. I had about 18, 20 different flavors that we started to do stuff. And then we threw a couple house parties for friends and, friends, family, and other folks that were like friends of others per se. And then at that point, it was kind of like doing those Tupperware parties, but we were doing hot sauce parties, and there was just became a success. And other people were like, "Oh, well, I think you should do more of this." And then I really got into it, got my processed or PFR license, and then got my cannery license. And that was a journey and all of those, things of getting those licenses. But just kind of dove into it and got everything lined up, the LLC, all the other business things that we had to do. And then one of my friends was in the punk rock scene doing artwork live on stage in San Francisco. And Jesse Mosier created our first artwork for the business. And then I kind of kept that journey with all of our album cover art. Like for Florida Franks is Craig Holloway, who did the Warriors album cover art for Agnostic Front. And
nice.
so we've got, Chris Sherry did our last Fishbone collaboration. And he does all the Descendants art. I've had John Seabury, Ross Sewage from Impaled and Exhumed. Does a lot of our stuff. Early days, John Seabury used to do a lot of stuff for us. And I've just kind of went down through different artists to do different things. But if bands we're working with, they want to do different art, then we'll bring on their artists too. But yeah, man, I mean, it's been a hell of a journey of starting from having a ton of hot sauce and us doing it little by little, and then being through the journey of growing from having to sell cold hot sauce and then getting a different license and then carrying that through to shelf stable and the whole nine now.
Yeah, so like you and your wife kind of were like just kind of messing around with it for yourself at first, and like then when did you mentioned your friend in the punk scene, but like what kind of planted the idea to like take on bands and create hot sauce for bands?
It's just the love for music. I've been a concert addict since a kid, and been buying merch, my whole life. It seems like since I was probably 14 going to concerts, and just kind of came up with the idea one night at a Primus concert in Oakland. I think it was a New Year's Eve show, and we're all having fun, and the group of us were all talking about stuff, and we're like, man, I wish I could do something for Primus or, and get something as merch. And people laughed at me thinking that, we could do merchandise hot sauce at that time. Everybody was like, you're kind of thinking outside the box, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. And then I kind of took that negativity and turned it into a positive thing, and just turned it around, and now we're making different hot sauces for a bunch of bands.
Yeah, like who was your very first band then that you did that with?
The first artist was Al Jourgenson in Ministry.
Oh wow!
And
how did you like connect with him to propose like the Al Jourgenson hot sauce?
It was just a random thing of like talking to Al online. I've been a diehard Ministry fan since I was a kid, and kind of pitch a thing to him when he was online for a little blip of time, and then became talkative through a couple of years and seeing him at shows and going on the bus and hanging out. But we got a personal hot sauce made for him only, and it was called Burning Inside. So that lasted for a while, just only personally shipped to him, and it was never distributed. And then at that time, we were doing something for, I think, Steve Mullix of the band Particle and Techno Destructo of Guar. Those were kind of like the first, like, kind of nibbles into the business, and then we got working with a bunch of other guys in the Bay Area. But yeah, I mean, it was a wild journey. Actually making a personal hot sauce for one of my favorite musicians, and it was a hell of a awesome thing, you know.
Yeah, I bet you that was motivational then to, you know, take on, you know, to keep doing what you're doing, and then, I mean, that was like a personal one for Al, like you were saying. But when did the idea for a band to like, or a band member to start marketing and selling their own version of the hot
I'm
sauce?
trying to think. We were like, when I pitched that to my friends at that Primus show, we were just doing our normal stuff. And then after that point, I started to reach out to people like Al, and then I got a little bit more courage, and talked to Steve. And then the particle thing was kind of short lived, but it was pretty fun. They're an East Coast party band, kind of jam band. And then trying to think, and then went into Ghoul, theatrical thrash metal band from the Bay Area. And at that time, working with Ghoul, we were working with Techno Destructo, and then I became Techno Destructo's like wrestling manager for a little while in that stint, and I
Nice.
still do a lot of things with Hunter to this day. And then it's just kind of snowballed after all that, man. You know, it's just word of mouth got out that we were doing it. And the metal scene's a small niche community that, you know, a lot of people know each other. And Bay Area community is pretty awesome. We've got a lot of great musicians here that are well active all the time. So I thought to hyper focus on just home base, which we've got a lot of really awesome stuff happening here. So
Yeah. Then what's like the I mean, for each band, I mean, what you know, they kind of get their own spin to their flavor or something, and then what, do you come up with like a name that kind of like emulates the band? But like, what goes into the process of creating each band's hot sauce?
it really, we like to tie it all together, right? So artwork, having a rock and roll poster artist or an album cover artist do something, and then tie it together with a band's song title, and then I work with the bands on the recipe, and they give me a couple of things, and then I create the recipe, give it to the guys, and then I get feedback. We'll work on it here or there. If it works out the first time, then it's a go. If it, but I can go through multiple recipes just to get to where it's perfect, and that's been kind of the process these days, how we just kind of work with everybody, and it becomes a big collaborative event, and then push it on through.
Now, you were saying this has kind of been, it's a husband and wife business. You guys started this, been doing it for like 14 years, but is it still like, I mean, we're working with all these bands and them wanting to sell the hot sauce in their merch and everything like that. Like, have you hired on like a crew? Like, how do you get it all together? Are you growing the peppers yourself and everything too?
No, we buy everything locally at at different restaurant supply stores, or I have to special order things like our mash or other ingredients and stuff. But no, it's just been my wife and I, and then some family helps out, or a friend may help out every once in a while. But yeah, it's been mainly her and I hoofing it and making it and labeling it and getting it all out there for tours. And then I go out to the shows, hang out. In the older days, I'd be at every Ghoul concert in the Bay Area. Whenever Ghoul played, I'd be at their merch, selling merch, and sampling the Brain Jerk hot sauce that we made for those guys. And that's what really got it out there in the independent underground metal scene kind of around here. To be the first guy out there doing anything anything original like that and doing what we were doing. I think back then, like the only artist that I could really think of was Dexter of Offspring that was doing it, but he wasn't doing his merchandise for tour. He was just making it, and then trying to think of other people that are doing it, but it was pretty minimal. But in the heavy metal scene, heavy metal world, we've definitely paved the way.
Yeah, I think Bumblefoot does it. Is he associated with you, or
No, we had never worked with him. He was after everything that we did.
Gotcha. And then like we were talking about how we connected. Our mutual friend Florida Frank from Hatebreed, I know, hooked up with you, and you got his hot sauce. But it's funny because like I used to live with Frank back in the day, and always, we'd be grilling on the weekends, and he's always trying to like kind of make like the hottest chicken wings ever. Like he would have these Super Bowl parties that were infamous around here when he still lived in Cleveland, and everybody come over, and like everybody that was there had to eat one of his wings with this like crazy hot sauce that he made and stuff. And it's just, I mean, it's like stuff of legend here locally, so just him going on to have his own hot sauce just seems so like apropos. Like how did you guys connect?
Randomly, I was going to see Obituary, Agnostic Front, Hatebreed, and who else was on that bill? Skeletor Remains, I think, in Sacramento. And my buddy was drum teching for Obituary, so then got on hang out with Obituary, and we were just kind of drinking beers and everything before the show. And then I got in earlier with Vinny Stigma of Agnostic Front because he knew me as the hot sauce guy. I've seen him multiple times at shows, and whenever I'd pull up, it was like, "Hey, the hot sauce guy's here."
That's
so it was pretty epic. So at that time, I got to meet Vinny then at that show, and then the Skulls Remains crew and everybody else there. We had a blast. And then met up with two of the guys in Hatebreed, and then everybody said Frank's the hot sauce guy, and you got to meet up with Frank. I'm like, all right, well, I got to meet up with Frank. So we met up, and then started to just talk hot sauce and how he wanted his a certain way, and we worked on the recipe together, and now you've got Frank's Florida Heat out on tour with Hatebreed.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it just seems so perfect knowing him, like I do. So they're right. He's the hot sauce guy, Hatebreed hot sauce guy. And then when you guys started, like, who kind of came up with the name Hella Hot Sauce?
That was all me. It was one of these things I was just thinking about the different slang and different terminology and things to use. And Bay Area is hella hot, or it's hella, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought, well, let's use the hella thing and go with it. Like, back east, you've got wicked and all this other stuff that everybody says,
Yeah.
And I thought, well, hella seems to be okay. Let's add the hot and then the hot sauce, and we got trademarked. So we have hella hot sauce trademarked, and been working on all these things over all these years, but it's been worth the journey. It's been a lot of fun. Gotten to see a lot of good shows, gotten to meet a ton of great people. And yeah, keep on working on it. We've got a bunch of new things happening.
Yeah, it must be great, too, like developing those relationships, being a fan of music, going to shows, but now like the hot sauce guy opens up so many more doors, than just attending, as a fan.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's been a lot of fun.
And then you said you got a lot of things coming up. I mean, any stuff you can discuss? Like,
there's new things on the horizon. We're working with David Elfson on a project.
Nice.
I just was filming in the new Poultrygeist 2 Trauma movie locally. So we're going to be working on a collaboration for that film. I've got, oh geez, a handful of other things. You know, we're working with Exodus on a new product, bunch of stuff.
Nice. Like who's I mean, you mentioned some of the names of the bands, but like who are like some of your top movers?
It just depends. You know, Exhumed is one of the top, and those guys, they have an amazing hot sauce that we worked on with them. That's beat based and called Forged in Fire after the song title. Matt Harvey is an amazing person, and Matt actually threw together a whole hot sauce tour with Exhumed and Cartilage and Laceration, a bunch of other great metal bands, and it was about 5 days up and down the western seaboard from Portland all the way down to San Diego, and then I think they did like a New Mexico show. It was kind of random, but it was amazing. They didn't say anything to me. It was this total surprise. And they're like, dude, we're going to do a hot sauce tour. I was like, huh? A hot sauce tour? And so I went out on the road with the band for majority of all the shows, sampling sauce at all the clubs and hanging out and having fun. We did a lot of like drink collaborations, food collaborations on each night. With the sauce, and it was a hell of a great time. I think if Matt Harvey listens to this, we need to do round 2 of that.
Yeah, man, put together a hot sauce fest. You know?
Yeah, I thought about it. Thought about talking to all the guys that we've worked with and doing something of a hell of a hot sauce festival with, you know, a bunch of the bands and stuff. It'd be something in the Santa Cruz area, but that's a lot of work, and we'll see how that goes, you know. Just with the two of us, it's a lot, you know.
Yeah, no, I got you. Now, I mean, has the name grown, though, because of this relationship with the bands, that you guys kind of still have your own brand that you sell?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's all been word of mouth. To this day, we're still a word of mouth a business that does everything on, you know, now we have social media and stuff. I do all our social media, and it's still just us wrangling, you know, all these things. I do all the marketing and go out to all the shows, talk to the bands, go hang out, and all that stuff. Our newest sauce on the road is with Fishbone, and that's on their tour Less Than Jake right now.
Oh, nice. And then, like, I mean, you've worked with, mostly like bands and musicians and stuff. How about podcasts? Ever think about working with any podcasts?
No, we never have done podcast stuff. I've sponsored a ton of them. Never done any collaborative stuff because I don't know. We're just so busy, like doing what we've been doing. Like right now, my plate's so overwhelmingly full. But yeah, it's just been mainly sponsoring podcasts over the years. Probably about 10 years of sponsoring different things through the scene or locally. And we do a lot of like collaborative work with local restaurants or local brewing companies and stuff like that, because it's easier to deal with local business and promote locally and stuff like that. But yeah, man, never done any podcast stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to see a Boondoggle bottle out there someday, but but hey, one thing I wanted to ask you about too, kind of gearing a little bit away from the podcast, but it caught my attention. You mentioned wrestling manager. Tell me a little bit about how that happened.
Kind of random. Hunter Jackson, aka Techno Destructo, got into wrestling, and as you know, Guar did different wrestling shtick shows back in the day. Hunter actually got all beefcake and went out and started to wrestle with Sin Bodhi as his coach, and Sin Bodhi was a WWE wrestler
Oh yeah.
years ago. And I went out to work with Hunter in Las Vegas at Sin's camp for like a video that they shot with Jake the Snake Roberts. It was a blast. But yeah, I mean, got involved with Hunter's wrestling stuff. Also his art, you know, I've always loved, and the music too. But I've always been a wrestling fan, and to have that opportunity, I was like, hell yeah, man, let's go. So I started getting him different gigs that I was able to. And he had a lot going on to where we would work together, meet up at shows and stuff, and it was a blast. It was, you know, a short-lived thing, but it was well worth the time.
Yeah, dude, I'm a wrestling mark myself, man. I grew up on that stuff. I still watch it. It's my like soap opera. And like when me and Frank lived together, I kind of had him watching a little bit. It was during the Monday Night Wars, so it was like kind of cool back then. And ECW was a thing. You'll have to ask.
Yeah.
Next time you see Frank, you'll have to ask him about his Rob Van Dam story. He's got a good Rob Van Dam story.
Okay.
But I was just thinking too, like if you're like if Techno was like a heel wrestler and you were like a heel manager, it'd be kind of cool if you like pretended to throw hot sauce in the opponent's eyes and stuff when the ref ain't looking and everything.
Oh yeah, we
Advertise
had
your
a
hot
lot
sauce.
of ideas about doing like a big prop bottle to where it would spray, you know, whatever it was inside the bottle all over the guy, but it never made it there. But we had definitely ideas of doing a lot of stuff like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, you said, you know, it's been a husband and wife journey, family business that's you know, started as what, like a dare at Primus, and you wanted to, you know, made it a reality, man. That's good, man. You've been hustling the hot sauce for a number of years now.
Yeah, I mean, we're just doing our normal recipes, you know, all the way up until and we still have our normal recipes that we have available, but not many of those. We're slowly bringing back different stuff, and then but mainly it's all collaborative. I've worked with a bunch of artists and bands and circus sideshow performers to a slew of different things, and then, like I said, podcast sponsorships, bunch of stuff, man. It's probably over 70 different collaborative things or more I've done, like, you know, with sponsorships and the sauces and all kinds of things. It's been a hell of a journey.
Yeah, hella hot journey.
That's right.
Now, for any people out there watching the show that might be like new hearing about you guys and wants to kind of jump on the journey or maybe order some, they got a taste for the hot sauce as well, where would you send them?
HellaHotHotSauce.com. I've got 2 or 3 sauces up there right now. I think one band collaborative with Skeletal Remains. That's a scorpion pepper sauce. Our original OG jalapeno cucumber sauce is available, and our Cajun sauce is available right now, I believe. So we go through a lot. Turnover is quick because they're all small, and that's how we like to do it.
Awesome. Kyle, I want to before we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask you some of the questions I normally ask guests that I have on here.
Shoot.
And then, you know, being a music fan, and it doesn't have to be like, you know, people that you're working with or anything either, but like music that you're listening to today. Who are your top 3 artists that you're listening to today?
Geez, that's a hard one. I'm all over the map with music. It's not just metal. Today,
That's all right.
I was listening to some new ICP today at work. I'm a Clown fan. trying to think what else I was rocking out to. Going to work, listening to some Wayne the Train Hancock. We'll mix that up for you. And I just saw Wayne a couple times out here on the West Coast tour with Hank Williams III's Sun opening. It was epic. I'm trying to think. What else I've been listening to recently? More like a mixture, I'd say, getting back into like the concerts I've seen, some Nine Inch Nails and Primus and stuff. Just trying to rehash back into the good times and while going to see the bands that performed recently.
Yeah, didn't you say you just went to see Nine Inch Nails when they came through town there or something?
Yeah, it was epic. They were awesome. It was so good.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in years, and the videos I've been seeing online, I'm like, oh man, they're coming to Cleveland at the end of the month. I'm like, I gotta go.
Oh yeah, you definitely need to see this tour. It was awesome.
I'm so spoiled. It's like I gotta be like seated like right down there in the middle of it. It's just like, damn, so expensive. It's there, Yeah,
it's not cheap these days. That's definitely the thing. It's definitely not cheap.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Say my mom to, put that accreditation to like one of my favorite people and has always pushed me to do everything that I'm doing always. Second person kind of look after would be like my dad's grandmother. She was another big one for me. And my dad's sister, because they're all more the independent people to kick me in the butt all the time, to put me in line. And they've always been those people to look always back to, because, that's the only way I could stay focused is with having them kick me in the ass a couple of times to get me going. And I miss the ones that aren't here, but those are, family drives, like my grandmother was a hell of a crazy cook. I spent all the time in the kitchen with both of my grandmothers. That kind of got me, I think, where we are with the hot sauce. Whenever we write stuff and make things, my wife tastes everything. I don't taste it. I let her do it. And then we work off of it. It's all by touch and kind of like improv writing. And that's kind of how I was raised, So, yeah, family drive, man.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And then any causes or organizations that you support and encourage others to check out?
Any causes or organizations? I'm more of an environmental person to go after like those things to make sure that the sea is okay and the environment's like being taken care of in any other way. I wouldn't name anything right now, but that's more or less like my personal like drive to help out like any ecosystem or biological like diversity and stuff like that,
How and that just reminds me, I mean, you're out there in Cali, your area has been all right with all the wildfires and stuff?
For where we live, we were lucky years back during the CZU complex fire, which was 1,100 feet from our home, to where we just bought. But that was the most detrimental, 100-year fire locally that burned down Big Basin Park and a bunch of other areas and communities that were just totally decimated. But lately, cross our fingers and our toes, everything's been really good. We've had a mellow summer. Fire danger's been kind of low. So yeah, we've been doing well, man. How about out in Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have like the the air issue, I guess, because we're getting some of the like smoke from Canada,
Canada,
or
right?
whatever. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, all right. I mean, it's been like one of the hottest summers we had in a long time, you know. But for the
Yeah,
most
you
part,
guys been getting hit with the heat, and we've been having a really mellow, kind of. They
yeah,
said early 1990s summer. It's like a 30-year difference that we never expected, but it's really nice and kind of relaxing in the summer, other than the 100 degrees or 110 degrees.
yeah, yeah. And then going back to like childhood before, you know, like I said, hot sauce and everything. What was your favorite toy?
Oh man, I was a GI Joe fanatic. You know, playing with GI Joes all the time.
Nice, yeah. I went from Star Wars to GI Joe. You know, that was like my transition as a kid. But definitely can relate to that. And then, you know, you mentioned, you know, being a wrestling fan. I haven't got to ask this question in a while, but who was your favorite wrestler?
You know, I always loved the older, you know, like Ultimate Warrior days were a blast watching growing up. The Hacksaw Jim Duggan days were a blast. The Steiner brother day, you know, I think the era like you and I are talking about was
Yeah,
era to really kind of dive into. These days I still, you know, watch the Bret Hart stuff every once in a while because he was one of my favorites.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
the whole Hart Foundation, I think, it was definitely one of my all-time faves. You know, they're just badass.
Dude, when you mentioned Ultimate Warrior, man, I started thinking like, wow, how cool an Ultimate Warrior collab would have been for you, you know, because he's always talking about the rocket fuel and stuff like that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had Ultimate Warrior hot sauce rocket fuel or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
imagine what could have happened back then. I mean, how
The
those
promos he
were-
would have cut for your hot sauce.
or like a Macho Man Randy Savage Slim Jim version or something. You know?
Yeah, man.
I'm just,
Awesome.
oh yeah, it's hot sauce instead of snapping to a Slim Jim.
Oh, hell yeah. And then any message you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Thank you, and keep kicking ass.
I remember, you know, too, when I was still active and we'd go on like, you know, we'd get in our MREs, you know, the little meals ready to eat, and everything, no matter what it was, as crappy as a lot of that stuff tasted, they always had a little bottle of hot sauce in there.
No way.
To make it.
They knew. They're like,
Yeah, to make it taste better.
They really need something to flavor this stuff up.
So yeah, hot sauce is a big, you know, big thing that the military appreciates too. So maybe you can have a collab with the military sometime down the line.
Yeah, I've got a ton of military background throughout my dad's side of the family. You know, from like Korean War to World War. My grandfather on my mom's side was a plane fighter. There's all kinds of those good stories through the family history, but I never served or anything, but I've always had mad respect for everybody that did and is serving to this day.
Awesome. Well, hey Kyle, man, it was good talking with you, dude, and I'm glad we finally got to make this happen. And you know, maybe we'll talk about a partnership with the Boondoggle at some point.
Yeah, you know, I'm always down to sponsor and kick down some hot sauces you can do raffles with, and we can always have fun with different things, you know.
Awesome. Sounds good, brother. Well, hey, man, good talking with you. We'll stay in touch.
Definitely. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and looking forward to doing it again and talking to you, you know, here soon.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, take care. Cheers.
Alright! Listen up! Hold on to your seats! Grab your girls, grab your beers!
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Balaam Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.